My name is Atoosa Moshashaee, and I was the director of 10 Minute More.
My name is Tysowski, and I directed and animated After the Spread. This is The Idea of Machines.
I'm Jared Hunting.
I'm Deb Etche. I did The Once Upon a Time That Never Was.
Okay, so thank you all for coming, all Canadian filmmakers. Does anybody have an initial question for all or any of the films of the filmmakers? Yes, go ahead, sir.
Just for all of them, what kind of software do you use for animation?
We used Procreate and also Clip Studio.
I use Toon Boom Harmony.
Blender and DaVinci Resolve Studio mostly, and then some Mixcraft for the audio.
Any other questions? Yeah, right there, third last row, yeah.
Yeah. Hi, I just want to know what got you, for all of you, what got you inspired to make your short film?
I wrote the music years ago for another film, and then I wrote the words, and then I did the song, but it all comes back to when I was a little kid, and I was totally fascinated with fairy tales, and knew there was magic in the world back then, and then I kind of grew up, and my memories did not coincide with reality, so I thought I'd better get back to that magic in the world again, and that's kind of what made me this.
I was actually given the idea by Jared here. He approached me with the idea of the teenagers going to the beach and all of that, and I kind of ran with it and made it my own a little bit, pulled from past experiences. All right.
So as a working immigrant mom, and my son's here, I had this stress all the time that I was working that what if today TTC stopped working and I can't get to the after school to my son, and I was late a couple of times and I can't forget his look to my eyes that, couldn't you come sooner? And that look made me make this film.
Any other questions? Yeah, last row.
This is for all of you as well. I'm just wondering, curious, what type of story or genre do you associate animation with? Like, do you associate it with whatever films that you screened here tonight, or do you have a specific preference for like comedy animation?
Yeah, absolutely. So my preference is comedy musical. For 10 Minute More, I had also like more musics in mind and dance and everything. Like Mom in the TTC also had a journey with like, she was like thinking when I will get there with all this TTC gal and guys coming to dance with her. But that was like a student film, and my professor said, oh, stop, like, this is too much, just don't expand on it. But yeah, musical definitely is my preference.
For animation specifically, I don't super see it as related to a specific genre. It's more of an art form. I think you can tell any kind of story through animation. I'm an animator, right? I wouldn't just stick to comedy or just stick to dramas. I would tell any story. It's just the medium I personally like to work in. I think you can be really creative with it. You can push the boundaries of how you can do the visuals and storytelling when you're drawing it instead of shooting with the camera. Yeah.
Well, I've done everything from wacky comedies to surreal stuff and fairy tales and everything, and I've done everything from stop motion to 2D through to 3D. So I would say the sky's the limit, really.
Let me know, what was the production time for each of your projects, for the films, both films?
Okay, I have two answers. One 3 years and the other 1 month, because I wrote the song 3 years ago, had it all done and ready to go, and then I kind of shelved it while I was trying to work out what kind of animation style I would use. But once I got the whole workflow down with the layers of things I was using, it took me about a month to put everything together.
For the animation side of things, it took me a year to go from concept art to the final composite and edit. Do you want to talk about the music?
Well, it just worked out well because it probably took me a year to finish recording and producing the album, so.
Yeah.
So pre-production for us, because it was like student, it took us the whole fall term to write it. And then I think it had like 3 phases of production. One was music, one was animation, one was live action. We first did the live action and then animation so that we can cover anything that we couldn't cover in the animation. And then I think the production, I can say 3 months or so, something like that.
Anybody have any questions?
But the live action production is 2 days. I mean, we had limitations.
How did you do that? Like, how did you, like, post-product, like, how do you put the animation to the live action?
So we basically did the storyboard, that the whole thing, what we were gonna do. We actually had this little maquette of the studio to see, like, this is the, you know, this is Dragony, this is the girl and everything. But then there was a built studio and green screen we had access to for 2 days only. So we needed to be very quick. And then they said, okay, the child needs to go like at 7, and we were like on the, taking 2, I guess. And that was the hardest one because sorry, I'm taking too much of time. So that was the take which we didn't practice that, and mother was Persian and the girl was not Persian, and I had to manage this. Yeah, the mother's here actually. and then the second AD was saying, the girl needs to go, and I was like, yeah, sure, let's just do it.
And she was, and one last question, so she was acting to nobody, like she was acting? Like,
Yeah.
So she had to pretend that she was talking
Yeah,
to
so
somebody.
actually I said like pretend Dragon is in the shelf on this bin and just look at there. Yeah. And then we had recorded Dragon's voice before, so we just played the Dragon's lines and she reacted to that.
Cool. Any other questions? Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, I have a question for after this spread specifically. So, my question is, I would like to know what you mean by after this spread, like if it's an incomplete sentence. I mean, I can derive my own meaning from it based on watching it myself, but I would still like to know what the artist has to say.
Yeah, this is actually more of a Jared question.
That's,
What's
well,
the title of the song?
I think the film doesn't actually, the storyline of the film doesn't follow the song itself. The song's sort of your typical apocalyptic AI, Terminator takeover, but I don't know. I think we kind of developed the story of just having a parallel sort of,
It's a metaphor.
like a desolate story. So, I mean, the title of the song sort of more tracks the lyrics and the meaning of the song versus the
actual
yeah.
Thanks.
Sure.
Other questions? Yeah, back row. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
I'm wondering about, so the voiceover dialogue, I'm just wondering, if you typically generally hire professional actors to do, like specifically the human voices, I know all kinds of sound, but do you hire outside actors or do you record the dialogue yourselves with a group of friends or people you work with, or what do you generally, what resources?
Is this an everyone question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I haven't personally personally done a lot of work with voice acting. When I was in school studying animation, we were given pre-recorded clips, just kind of like free use stuff to animate to. But I know a lot of my friends who are animators and who've run films and festivals usually use like their friends. Professional actors are hard to hire, they're expensive to hire when you're just doing it kind of indie.
I've done a few films where I had to use actors, and during COVID, I actually went into Fiverr a lot and got people from around the world. Belen Mariscaldi, who sang this, is actually in Argentina, and I would send her the music, and she recorded it, and it came back, and then I sent it and mixed and mastered it from that. But I get them to do the audio for me, and then in audio software, I just kind of mesh everything together.
Yeah, for this film specifically, I had the voiceovers come to the studio and record them, but then at some point, like some of them couldn't come, so they just recorded at their house, and you couldn't really tell which is which. So. It was good enough with their movements.
We've got amazing equipment these days. Any other questions? Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, so my question is more of a basic, like, how skill sets question. So watching the different animations today, it's quite diverse because you have some like stills with pictures moving, and you have like the full after spread, which is like very different. Do you need to build skill sets across the board, or do you feel like you develop your skill based on the type of animation you want to create, and then you continue to create animation in that category, or how does it work for you? That's a good question.
We were very basic. We just started to, like, I was in animation class, and so it's just,
I think that kind of varies from animator to animator. Like, I learned 2D animation, and that's kind of the skill that I've been pushing since then for like the past, I don't know, 2-3 years. But like, I do want to diversify my skill set. Like, I want to learn 3D, I want to learn how to build 2D rigs. Like, it's very much something, if you want to, you can diversify your skill set. Like, you can't do either or. I learned like all the basics you need for 2D animation, right? Like, I learned how to storyboard, how to do the background art, how to character design. But if you want to expand it, that's kind of a personal thing, I think.
Well, I'm a bit of an anomaly here. I'm totally self-taught, and whatever I want to do, I just kind of try to learn the skill set at that time to do the animation. So on this one, I was doing layers and compositing to get, wireframe overlaid on live action and all that kind of stuff. So I can't really answer your questions for anybody else to follow my path, because my path is nobody else's path.
Go ahead, sir.
Just to expand on the technical question, if you're doing like a 2-minute or 5-minute short film, and if you want to expand to a 30-minute film, is that like a major jump in like technical wise, or?
Definitely, and I don't do it.
Is it like a preference to like work in a shorter time version?
My preference is anything from 1 minute to about 7. I've done 12-minute ones, but I find I'm able to say what I want to say in the 7 minutes, but it's different for everybody. I mean, it's just my preference.
I mean, in terms of like the software you're using and stuff, it doesn't need to be different, but it's really just the time commitment. Like, it took me a year to animate a 2-minute video. If I were to make that 30, just doing it alone, that would take like a decade. Like, it would take forever.
You need more skill set or like more people? Or?
You would need a bigger crew if you wanted it done in the same amount of time, but really, what you just need is time.
We specifically chose probably the shortest song from the record because of that, because of just how much time and energy.
Yeah, I mean, there's shortcuts you could take, but it really depends on the artist. Like, I wouldn't want to use anything that does the art for me. I like to draw it myself.
Yeah, also for me, although this was my first experience, and I prefer also to continue live action animation, because it doesn't need that much of energy and huge crew to do that, and also it's just preference. And then, so it was like in 9 minutes of film, I think 4 minutes had animation. For me, I liked the idea of like having longer film with shorter animation.
Any other questions? Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Do you believe AI can replace a huge tool to help you build longer?
That's more of a statement than a question. Well, let me ask you guys. Will you guys ever do AI? Would you ever do AI animation?
Not generative, no.
Because
not.
the
Sometimes
last,
AI
if
systems.
anybody was at our last animation festival,
That's different.
if anybody's at our last animation festival, we had a professor who's from a big university in New York City, and he's teaching his students AI animation. So like it is happening. And in Ash, you're like so young, and you're doing 2D, which is amazing, right? So yeah, it's a passion. So you guys, nobody would do AI?
Well, like I
Go ahead,
said,
if
there's
you wanna-
two types though.
Yeah, of course.
There's basically two types of AI. It's generative AI, which does the whole thing for you based on the text that you give it. But then there's also AI assistive tools, which help you with the coloring and that of stuff you've already done. And it will kind of give you a different look at things. It doesn't mean you have to use it. So I use sometimes AI assistive tools. I think a lot of people do, especially in your software. But I would never use generative, sorry. It's just my own preference.
So while you're at it, so Ash, how did you you're young, you're doing 2D animation. What inspires you to do that instead of doing 3D, kind of like the studio's animation style?
I mean, it's really, I grew up watching a lot of cartoons. I grew up watching old Disney, like The Lion King and stuff like that. And it's really just, it's what I love to do. You know, I would watch cartoons even into high school, and I was like, I want to work on a TV show, right? Because a lot of TV animated these days is still done in 2D. It's not hand drawn, it's done with what they call 2D rigs. But it's just, I just fell in love with the art form. It's what I want to do. It's really all there is to it. I went to school for it and gone to career fairs and stuff, and that's what it is. Yeah.
Any other questions?
When you're doing your animation, I understand that is indie, but for example, you did one animation that you have a message for the kids, right? That you use the imagination, you can towards your imagination. And I would like to ask you if in the university, they told you when you do your animation, maybe you should towards to have an educational message, because in the future we could sell to the education to the board, I don't know, to the Canadian board, or for example, hair animation seems a lot very whimsical, maybe good for festivals, you know, and yours is very different and modern, you know. So when you are taking the decisions, do you towards any marketing? Okay, mine is for the festivals, mine is for education. Do you have any of these bodies when you're doing the process?
Yeah, sure. Personally, I was thinking I would love to pitch it to TV for kids. But in terms of university, I went to York University. My major was film production, not animation. But our professors were they were saying you need to have a very good drama. For them, this was very melodrama. They didn't really like this. So. They were like, you don't have that, And then I was like, I'm okay with it. It's just for kids. I don't want, But yeah.
Well, I was approached by Jared here to do the video, so it was kind of a job in and of itself making after the spread. But I did have a couple other things in mind, like festival run and stuff like that was something we thought of completely after it was finished. It wasn't something I had in mind going into making it, but I did think about my portfolio, right? Because I've got a website and I'm trying to build up stuff for studios, to see. So a lot of the shots that I put into after the spread, I was thinking about, the character motion and the acting and what recruiters would look for in my demo reel. But yeah, that was pretty much it. I wasn't looking to pitch it anywhere.
Okay, well, I didn't start making films until I was 59, so, and I only made them for myself. But then I also, as I went along, I started thinking about festivals, because they started accepting the films and seemed to like it, and I was ecstatic when people got where I was going with them, so it was a whole new world for me.
So I just want to jump on what you said. So you told me outside that you started when you were in 2016,
When I was 59, yeah.
and you self-taught, right?
Totally self-taught.
So that's amazing. Right?
And I do
So-
everything myself, except
so-
sometimes the dialogue.
So how did you like? This is pretty in bit it's overwhelming in a sense, but like where did you start like in terms of like learning how to do animation?
Okay, this is a very strange story. I was an artist, a graphic artist and a musician, and I taught and everything. But after I retired, it was like I got a chronic illness and I couldn't do a lot of that stuff. So I thought, I've got to find an outlet. So I had this little Godzilla action figure on my desk. I thought I could do stop motion with that. So I started doing that, and it just started rolling after that. And I would teach myself what I needed for each successive film. So that's basically
So your first film was a stop motion Godzilla?
No, I just did that to try. My first one was a stop motion of benevolent pirates. One of them is Yorick from Hamlet. He's a skull. He got kicked out of the theater, so he decided he had to do something else. So he built his own crew of robots and stuff and went off on a ship, and it's very strange. But that's the first one I did.
Any last questions? Go ahead, sir.
Just a question about the last movie. Did the child actors have any input for the storyline? Like, did it change in any way?
No. Do you mean like it was improv? No.
Not improv exactly, but being a dragon of a certain color versus another animal, another character. The cartoon or the animation, like, did they have any say in what's being done?
No, it was all scripted.
Okay.
And because it was like live action animated, we needed to follow, because anything that we just didn't follow, it had some, consequence afterwards. So we needed to follow everything as it was. Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, any last questions? We'll go to third time's a charm, and then, yeah, go ahead.
For all of you guys, really quickly, during the pre-production process, do you guys like by hand your storyboard or sketch the characters out before you like go to the computer and digitally create, or do you start the pre-production process using like digital whatever program? I don't know what the programs are, but I'm just basically asking
you draw.
Do you anything by hand first before you?
Like storyboards.
Yeah. So for me,
storyboard or sketch or whatever.
yeah. So for me, yes, it had storyboard and it had the character designed and drawn on paper. It was not digital.
I mean, there was drawings done beforehand, but I didn't do any of it on paper. I did it all on a drawing tablet. I used Clip Studio Paint for most of my pre-production work, but like I had character designs and a storyboard and stuff like that before I went into animation. It just wasn't done on paper.
Of all the films I made, I think I've only used a storyboard twice, sorry. I just kind of go with the flow. I'll have the idea, kind of where I want to go with it, and I just start working on it and let it kind of expand out from the center. That's how it works.
All right, everybody go good? Yeah. Thank you.